Hello there, I'm Oliver Racing, and today we'll be talking about my personal injustice at the NEC. For those who don't know what the NEC is, it's the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. And for my personal injustice at the NEC, I was attending a gaming festival called Insomnia 60. So, to understand what happened at the gaming festival, we'll have to go back 6 months. So I was at this gaming festival, the biggest in the UK, and it was a weekend thing, and it was about 10 p.m. and there wasn't much to do since all the things happened really in the morning, the activities and stuff at the venue. So what happened was I was just pacing up and around, and then I decided to go in this BOYC area, bring your own computer, and that's fine. I showed the security guards my wristbands and stuff like that. Had no problem, and I had no luggage. I didn't smuggle or hide anything in there, so I just went in. And there's these benches you can sit down, play card games with other people. There's a bar and all that, and then there's the BOYC area behind this metal gate. And I was by the metal gate looking around at these computers, not over marking the gate, nowhere over the boundary. So, and then I turned around, and then I was confronted by the security guard and said, "Would you like to speak to my supervisor?" And I instinctively said, "Why?" That's what I said. Why? And then he said, again, "Would you like to see my supervisor?" Again, said why. I wasn't trying to be difficult, I just wanted to know why. And so, instinctively, then he implied that I was refusing to leave or speak to a supervisor, which I wasn't. And then the next minute, I remember him grabbing my arm, and this other guy grabbing my arm, and at this point, I was getting dragged out of the BOYC, and that was that. I was dragging by my arms locked up behind my back, getting dragged. I couldn't do anything, and I got chucked out. I chucked out the front of the NEC, and then that happened, and then the indoor camping staff, who were also security, came out and said to the other security guard by the BOYC, "What are you doing? What do you do?" And then they said apparently I did something about I wasn't supposed to be in there at that particular time, but I told the indoor camping, no one notified me. I showed my wristband each and every time, and there was no problem. I said if I knew, I would have just left, and I would have. So that was that, and the security from the BOYC cut my wristbands on my way of, so I wouldn't get back in. But the indoor camping recognised me, and I said, "I've got all my stuff in indoor camping, I need to go and get some stuff." And they're like, "No you don't." I'm like, "I do." And then, "Where's your indoor camping?" I said, "I had it when you took it off me," and they wouldn't believe me. So the indoor camping recognised me and took me in and said, "Come and sit with us, and we'll talk to the Insomnia staff in the morning about getting your wristbands back." So what happened was I went back into indoor camping. I got allowed to go back in indoor camping and wait with the security for the indoor camping space, and they were nice, they were okay, but they're like, "Why don't you sleep?" And me being me, or anyone in the situation, I was a bit shook up. I didn't want to sleep, I didn't know what was going to happen, I just thought, So I decided to wait up all night with the fellas, and I was just chatting, was searching bags. More or less the morning came, and I reported the thing to Insomnia, and they can be more helpful. What happened was, they said instead of asking why, maybe should have just went. I understood that. I instinctively just said, yeah, and they said, "Yeah, we can see, nothing too major. Here's your wristbands, and they gave me some new wristbands back, like, you know, what I had originally, so I could go back in during Saturday day during the actual gaming festival itself. But then, so the part of the Insomnia tickets, there was this weekend music festival, which was with the tickets of the weekend pass, which I had previously and now have, if you're following. So I decided, my friend who I met last Insomnia at 59, I was wondering where he was. Like, you know, we were all going to go to this music thing together. He wasn't too sure about. I thought, you know, might as well make the most of why I'm there. Not trying to let Friday get to me, or early hours of Saturday morning, what just happened. But so I went in with a positive new outlook, just let the other day just slide by. And then what happened was, I was finding my friend, I got no response. So I went to this music festival, and then they took my ticket, and it turns out you wasn't allowed to leave. Or you weren't allowed to come back in the music, which I don't personally think that's right. But anyway, that was the thing and condition you had to stay in. There was bar either side. I don't drink, as you know. But I just decided to make the most of the music. Very lots of people. If you've ever been to Insomnia or you'll see videos of it, there's a lot of a crowd. People were getting drunk, and then what happened was, this was near the end of the music, and what happened was there's people just pushing each other along drunkenly. I got pushed into someone. Something happened. They asked me to come outside the music area, not fully outside, but outside the main music bit. So they took me to one side and said, take it easy, give it 5 minutes and we'll let you back in. I was like, okay, what now? I didn't really do anything, but I went along with it. I listened to the guy. He said, give it 5 minutes and we'll let you back in. I went, okay. Probably they just saw me or someone barge into and thought there was a bit of fight. Whatever, that's what happened. So after 5 minutes of waiting around, I decided, you know what, I'm going back in. And then what do you know? I see the same security guard, the head of security there, saying, how did you get back in here? And I said, I got cleared from Insomnia. They gave me my wristbands back, and he said, yeah, we think that you've been drinking. And to me, if you watch what I do, I'm straight edge. I don't drink or smoke or do any drugs. And when you question that I don't drink, when I've already been accused of something I hadn't done previously, I thought, you know what, I listened to you, you said I could go back in 5 minutes, but now you're questioning that I've been drinking when I haven't. So I defiantly said, I have not. And I'm standing my ground, because this was the second day of being there, and I wanted to enjoy it. And next minute they're like, either you can turn around right now and walk off, and we won't do anything, or, you know, we can throw you out and chuck you out, but I'm not drunk. And they went, yeah, you are. We think you're on the suspicion of drinking. I'm like, so there's a lot of people, why don't you breathalyze me? You know, I wasn't trying to be defiant. I was just trying to prove a point. I was trying to prove the fact that I was not drunk. They wouldn't breathalyze me. They said, you turn around right now. I went, you know what, okay, I'll turn around. I'm going to listen, but I just wanted to prove my point. I was not drunk, and by this point I'm not really feeling it anymore. Everything's gone. My friend didn't turn up anyway. Yeah, there's other things going on. But what happened was, I was turning back round to leave. Next minute, I start walking, and then you know when you feel like something's behind you or someone's behind you. I stopped for about just 3 seconds max. Just looked over my shoulder like I am now. And next minute, I see these two guys, different guys, grabbing me, look at my arm, twisting it up again, and then dragging me. And the next minute, I'm getting a third person this time, with his knee in my back, and then he's choking me from behind. And as you can see, I'm not a large guy, I'm not the strongest guy, but I was resisting, because for me, I was already walking out, and I didn't hit them, I didn't swing back, I didn't cuss or anything like that. But I was resisting when I got grabbed, because for well, I thought I was in the right for defending myself. But anyway, so I'm getting dragged out this time. I'm getting dragged out, like choked. I barely breathe. I'm like on my side. I see the floor. I'm off the floor. I can't like see my own feet. I'm getting dragged by out these guys. I only see sideways and bits of the floor. And then halfway, like upon leaving, I hear something fall or drop, and I think that's my phone. So what happened was then I was like trying to resist more because I wanted my phone, you know. I was worried about what was going to happen if I had nothing. So then they were about to leave like the main music venue area, but they take a left turn towards this fire exit. And then they open the fire exit. Another security guard opens the fire exit. And then they're like, just chucked me out. And I am rowdy, I'm fired up a bit, but not at the same time punching or still cussing. I'm not doing any of that. I just want to go back in. I think I've dropped my phone at this point, you know. I'm outside of the place. I've never been outside this fire exit bit. And as I got chucked out, I landed kind of like on my side and landed on my left knee and then on my left elbow and my right side. So I was turned my back to them. So as I got up, I could feel my knee really, I don't know, painful, like shooting pains at the side of my left knee. And I was hobbling to the door, and then they like got another guy just standing by the fire door and just pushing me backwards. And then I was like, oh god, yeah, and I like, oh no you don't. And I might have dropped my phone. Next minute I see like one of the security guards grabs both sides of my shirt like this and then just knees me right here in the sternum area. And then I fall back down, and then there's like about 4 security guards and this other one coming around, like, and then stands behind me with my arm this time like against my back, and I can't move. I'm pretty much facing like the floor and looking up as much as I can, but couldn't really make much out. And then what happened was, and then when I got back up, they ripped my sleeve of my shirt off, and bear in mind it was cold. It was April. It was very cold. So I was freezing, and then I like started like kind of hobbling along as much as I could to like go back to the door, slam the door in my face. I was like trying to knock on a window, these little windows. No one would answer, and then suddenly one of the security guards saying, "Go," like kind of just pointing towards the other way, like out the glass. And I was like, no. And then by that point, I knew that they weren't going to let me in. But I thought, I can't just stay here. My knee is in agony. It's cold. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give my friend the ring who was supposed to meet me at the music festival. So I found that I did have my phone. Luckily, it didn't fall out. I must have heard someone else, or I don't know, but I did have my phone. And as I was calling him, I hear the fire exit door open again, and then there's some guy bolting towards me. And then I'm like going fast as I can on my knee. I don't know what was wrong with it. I just couldn't really run properly. I couldn't walk on it properly without hurting. But I did it as fast as I could, and I was on the phone to my friend trying to explain what happened. And then halfway through going around the arena, my phone died. It just cut out, and I was like, oh dear, what am I going to do now? And I still was getting chased by this guy, and I didn't bother to look back. I just kept on running. I kept on running as much as I could. And then I just like fell over, and then the guy, I think, lost me because I went into like the side of the building a bit more, and he just turned back or something. And then the next minute I'm still trying to get my way to being in the front of the NEC. So yeah, I was running, and I fell, but I got back up as much as I could, but I didn't know where I was. I was like around the back of the NEC, and I was like, all I had to think was going to the front. I still had my things and my phone charger in indoor camping, so I could charge my phone up to contact my friend, or just get my stuff like all together, and it was still all in the indoor camping area. And so I'm dragging my left leg at this point. I'm literally going off my right leg. I'm literally dragging myself across the floor. That's the truth of it. And what happened was, then I got to the front of like this casino. There's a casino near the NEC. If you've been, you'll know. I can't particularly remember the name, but there's a casino, and there was a security guard on the door as I finally got round. He saw me and he's like, what happened? I explained the issue to him, and he couldn't do much. He was just doing his job at the same time. So I was near the NEC at this point, but at this point I was like, I didn't know what to do. My phone died. Didn't know if my friend was asleep or awake now, because you know what happened. I don't know how long where time was at this point, but I was still trying to find the front of the NEC. So I was dragging myself, got to the front, and what happened was, what do you know? The NEC security staff were at the front of the NEC and said, nope, I'm not going in, but I said myself it's indoor camping. It's like, oh, we'll give it to you. I'm like, no, I did nothing wrong. I told you to breathalyze me, but you didn't. They're like, this was outside the front of the NEC, by the way, so it wasn't even inside the NEC. They're like saying, no, you're not coming back in. We gave you 2 warnings and you're not coming back in. I'm like, but I did nothing wrong the first time. I didn't, sure as hell didn't do anything wrong the second time. And then they're like, yeah, but you're not coming back in. I'm like, but what do I do? And they say, yeah, we're on suspicion that you're drinking and drugs. I'm like, I don't do either of those things. And then they're like, that's what I also. I'm like, I don't. And then, like, this was still outside. I was freezing. They were partially still inside, just right in the front of the doors, all blocking me, a line of them outside both of the entrances. I tried going back in to seek help for my knee, as I thought they would have a duty of care, but it wasn't meant to be. I was just saying no, and at this point my knee just gave in, kind of thing, and I just kind of like fell to the floor. Couldn't really do much against them, and I was out there for 2 hours in the cold, without a phone charger, because no one would get one for me or anything, because security did what they did. But the bottom line is, then 2 hours or so passed, give or take, but then Insomnia staff came, like for the, I think it was morning, their morning shift. And then they realised I was outside, and the security have now kind of dispersed the area, and they're like, what's going on? Why are you out here, and what's wrong with your knee? And then I explained the issue to them, and then they said, that's not right. And I'm like, I know that's not right, but that's what happened. And like, as they tried to carry me in, both my arms were across their necks. They were carrying me in, since I couldn't really walk on my knee or stand on it properly anymore. I was freezing, I was shaking, but then they like took me into the front of the building for the first time, and then the security guards confronted them and said, what do you think, he's not allowed in here? And they said, what about his knee? And then they're like, yeah, but we believe he's been drinking. And I was like, I haven't been drinking. And then like, if he had been drinking, then he would be arguing with all of us, but instead he's actually being quite perfectly reasonable and stuff like that. And then they're all circling around me, and then indoor camping staff came, some of them came and realised that I said the same thing happened yesterday, if you recall. And they're like, yeah, what happened this time? So I told them what I'm now telling you about the knee and the allegedly drinking, and they said, yeah, if you were drunk, then you'd be thinking of all of us as threats. And I'm like, no, I just know that I haven't been drinking. And so about another hour passed, like, I'm still now officially in NEC, like just at the front of it, and they're going around, they're like, you need to go to the hospital, and is there anyone who can take you? And I went, no, do you have your phone? I'm like, my charger's in the indoor camping, I can't charge it, it died. And I'm like, alright, and I said, I think my friend might be there, and so my friend, thankfully, was actually in the indoor camping. He was sound asleep, though. So we woke him, and then they had to phone for a taxi, and then I had to go to the local hospital, get my knee checked out, and then it turned out I stretched my left knee ligament, and then I had to go in a wheelchair briefly, not for long though, and I had to just make do with my knee when I got back in a wheelchair, and I just had to wait to get picked up. And yeah, that what happened. But yeah, I could go on, but I think this has been pretty much of what happened. But the reason why I'm making this video is to speak out against assault, guys, because assault is not right no matter what. It's not right in any human being. I was quite fortunate that it was nothing too sincere, but my left knee, if you're wondering, is not completely the same. But I try and look a bit more positively and think that if I don't speak out, more is going to be to suffer. I doubt I'll be the only one. But you know what? With your support, guys, I want to know your thoughts on this, so let me know in the comments. If you could like, share this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe. I've been all racing, and I'm talking about my injustice at the NEC in Insomnia 60.